Hey guys, my name is Sumit and here I come with another quick lecture video on heart failure. So let's start with the definition of heart failure. Heart failure is a progressive clinical syndrome caused by inability of heart to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's metabolic needs. Heart failure can result from any disorder that reduce ventricular filling and myocardial contractility. There are many causes of systolic dysfunction and diastolic dysfunction. If we talk about the systolic dysfunction, the main cause of systolic dysfunction are the reduced muscle mass. For example, myocardial infarction, dilated cardiomyopathies, and ventricular hypertrophies. Ventricular hypertrophy can be caused by pressure overload. For example, by the systemic or pulmonary hypertension. If we talk about the causes of diastolic dysfunction, also known as restriction in ventricular filling. Causes of diastolic dysfunctions are increased ventricular stiffness, ventricular hypertrophy, and infiltrative myocardial disease or pericardial disease. For example, pericarditis and pericardial tamponades. The leading cause of heart failure are the coronary artery disease and hypertension. As the cardiac functions decreases after myocardial injury, the heart relies on compensatory mechanism. The first one is tachycardia and increased contractility through sympathetic nervous activation. The second point is the Frank-Starling mechanism, whereby increased preload increased stroke volume. The third point is vasoconstriction, and the fourth point is ventricular hypertrophy and remodeling. Although these compensatory mechanisms initially maintain cardiac functions, they are responsible for symptoms of heart failure and contribute to the disease progression. Now we talk about the clinical presentation of heart failure. Clinical presentation include the sign and symptoms of disease. The primary symptoms are dyspnea and fatigue, which led to the exercise intolerance. Other pulmonary symptoms include orthopnea and tachypnea. Fluid overload can be results in pulmonary congestion and peripheral edema. The non-specific symptoms are hemoptysis, abdominal pain, weight gain, fatigue, bloating, and ascites. Now we talk about the stages of heart failure and their recommended therapy. There are four main stages. The first one is stage A. Stage A include the patient with high risk of heart failure but without structural heart disease or symptoms of heart failure. Stage B include the patient with structural heart disease but without sign or symptoms of heart failure. Stage C include the patient with structural heart disease with prior or current symptoms of heart failure. The stage D is the refractory heart failure requiring specialized intervention. Now we talk about the therapy of stage A. Firstly, stage A patient with hypertension, atherosclerotic disease, and diabetes. The drugs used are the ACE inhibitors and angiotensin receptor blockers. And here is the thing why we use ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitor improve the symptoms and slow the disease progression and decrease mortality in patient with heart failure and reduce the left ventricular ejection fraction. Now we talk about the stage B. Stage B include the patient with structural heart disease but without sign and symptoms of heart failure. For example, patient with previous MI, low ejection fraction, and asymptomatic valvular disease. Drugs are used ACE inhibitors or ARB in appropriate patient. But in stage B, we also used a beta blocker because the American Heart Association guideline recommended the use of beta blocker in all stable patient with heart failure and reduce left ventricular ejection fraction in the absence of contraindication or a clear history of beta blocker intolerance. Now we talk about the stage C. Stage C include the patient with structural heart disease with prior symptoms of heart failure. For example, patient with non-structural heart disease or symptoms like dyspnea, fatigue, or reduced exercise tolerance. The drugs are used diuretics. Diuretics are used for the fluid retention, and the second line drug is beta blocker. Drugs for selected patient are the aldosterone antagonist, angiotensin receptor blockers, digitalis, nitrates, and hydralazine. And the other thing, why we use the nitrates and hydralazine. Nitrates and hydralazine have compensatory hemodynamic actions. Nitrates are primarily vasodilator, producing reduction in preload. Hydralazine is a direct arterial vasodilator that reduces systemic vascular resistance and increases the stroke volume and cardiac output. The combination of nitrates and hydralazine improve the composite endpoint of mortality hospitalized for heart failure patients. Stage D, including the patient with refractory heart failure were requiring the specialized intervention. For example, patient who have marked symptom at rest despite the maximum medical therapy, means those who are recurrently hospitalized or cannot be safely discharged from the hospital without specialized intervention. Options for stage D patients are the compensate end of life care, and the extraordinary measures are the heart transplantation, chronic inotropes, and permanent mechanical support. And dobutamine and milrinone are the positive inotropic agents. Dobutamine is a beta 1 and beta 2 receptor agonist with some alpha 1 agonist effect. The net vascular effect is usually vasodilation. It has a potent inotropic effect without producing a significant change in heart rate. The second is milrinone. It inhibits the phosphodiesterase 3 and produces the positive inotropic and arterial and venous vasodilating effect. It has splendid use of amrinone, which has a higher rate of thrombocytopenia. Thank you so much for listening this video. If you have any query, you can contact me by my email, which is given in video descriptions.